Welcome back to the channel, friends. It's always an honor to share this space with you, where we explore timeless wisdom, challenge assumptions, and uncover truths that often get buried beneath everyday phrases. If you're joining us again, thank you for walking this path with me. If you're new here, welcome to a community that values depth, authenticity, and the kind of reflection that leads to real change. Today's topic is about a saying many of us have heard, especially from older generations: let children live their own lives. Or more traditionally phrased, children and grandchildren have their own fortunes. On the surface, it sounds like a declaration of freedom, a wise letting go. But is it really that? Or is it sometimes used as a shield for emotional detachment? Today, we're going to peel back the layers of this phrase and explore what it means to truly care, truly release, and truly live with wisdom. Because in truth, the saying isn't wrong, but how it's used, how it's embodied, makes all the difference. Let's start with the basics. Life is a chain of generations. Each one inherits not just DNA, but also emotional patterns, values, trauma, and expectations from the one before. Whether we like it or not, how we live and how we treat our children becomes the soil in which their lives grow. So when someone says, "Let the kids handle their own future," the spirit of the phrase might be noble, but we have to ask, is it coming from wisdom or from fatigue? From peace or from avoidance? Let me share a story. A man named Charles, well into his 70s, lived with a quiet pride that his children were independent. Whenever someone asked about them, he would smile and say, "They have their own blessings. I don't interfere." On the outside, it sounded like freedom, but inside, there was a story he never told. His youngest son had struggled with addiction for years. His daughter, though successful, often said she felt emotionally unsupported. Charles had told himself that giving them space was the right thing to do, that life would teach them what he couldn't. But deep down, he wondered, had he let go too soon? Had he confused non-attachment with disengagement? You see, the true essence of the saying isn't about turning your back. It's about holding space without controlling the outcome. It's about offering roots when needed, but allowing wings to be used freely. And the wisdom, the true wisdom, lies in the balance. Because here's the truth: no child becomes strong from being smothered, but no child thrives in emotional isolation either. The art of parenting, whether you're a father, mother, grandparent, or mentor, isn't in creating perfect children. It's in creating whole humans. People who feel safe to try, fail, learn, and rise again. And sometimes that means stepping back, but other times it means stepping up, not to direct, but to support. Let's go deeper. The second half of the saying, the part most people forget, carries the real wisdom. Do good in your own life. Set your mind at ease. Let children walk their own path. Did you catch that? Do good in your own life. This isn't about apathy. This is about personal responsibility. This is about modeling what it means to live with integrity, courage, and clarity, so that the next generation sees not just advice, but example. So often, we think being a good parent or elder means protecting, guiding, shaping. But sometimes, the most powerful gift you can give your child is the sight of your own wholeness, a life not filled with regret, but with purpose. A spirit not anxious about their future, but at peace with your present. Let me tell you about a retired teacher who lost her husband early and raised 3 children on her own. For years, she hovered, worried, intervened. Every decision they made, she had an opinion. Every failure they experienced, she blamed herself. Until one day, after a deep illness, she had a realization: she had been living her children's lives more than her own. So she stopped. She started painting again. Took up long walks, smiled more, talked less. She still loved them, but with more presence and less pressure. And what happened? Her children, seeing her transformation, began healing themselves, not because she fixed them, but because she inspired them. This is the power of doing your own work, of letting go, not with bitterness, but with grace. Because here's something we forget: children do not need your perfection. They need your peace. They need to see what it looks like to forgive yourself, to move on, to stop clinging, to live fully. That's the real inheritance. That's the fortune your money can match. Let's speak to another reality. Sometimes we say, let the kids have their own fate, because we are disappointed. Maybe they didn't become who we hoped. Maybe they made choices that hurt us. Maybe we feel rejected or irrelevant. In those moments, the temptation is to check out emotionally, to say, fine, they'll learn the hard way. But wisdom doesn't harden, it softens. Wisdom doesn't close doors, it opens the heart. You can release expectations without withdrawing your love. You can stop controlling without stopping your care. You can be quiet without disappearing. And in doing so, you give your children space not just to grow, but to return, to reconnect, to choose you again on their own terms. Because that's the most powerful bond, not one maintained by guilt, but one sustained by respect. If you're a parent who's struggling to let go, I want to say this: you are not alone. It's not easy to watch someone you raised walk into fire, but remember, some lessons can only be learned through burning, and your job is not to stop the fire. It's to be the water they can always return to. And if you're a child who felt abandoned under the guise of freedom, I want to say this: your pain is valid. But healing begins when we understand our elders not as gods or villains, but as humans trying, failing, growing, just like us. Ultimately, this proverb is not an escape, it's a mirror. It asks, are you living your own life well? Are you at peace? Are you releasing others without resentment? Are you offering love without strings? If so, then yes, your children have their own blessings, because you've given them the greatest one, the permission to become themselves. And so, as we close today's reflection, I invite you to look at the relationships in your life, not with judgment, but with truth. Ask yourself, where am I holding too tightly? Where have I checked out? Where can I re-enter with wisdom instead of worry? Because the rest of your life is too sacred to waste on what you can't control. And your relationships are too precious to live in fear or obligation. Lead with example. Let go with trust. And love with open hands. If this message resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment below. Tell me about your journey with letting go or with reconnecting. And of course, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and continue walking this beautiful path of truth, compassion, and clarity with us. Thank you for watching this video.